Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling.
The silence inside the grand medical facility did not feel natural anymore. It felt carefully engineered. And as Update X24H brings you the staggering conclusion to the Menglong mystery, a massive discovery is about to shake everything you thought you knew about fame, truth, and the unseen forces operating just beyond the spotlight. Every clean corridor on that restricted 7th floor seemed to hold its breath as Detective Chin stood motionless outside the elevator, the echoes of Menglong's final recorded words playing like an eerie symphony in his mind, urging him not to trust the official reports and to look closer at room 717. The air grew perceptibly colder with every rising floor, not from mechanical cooling, but from the heavy weight of decades-old secrets that this institution had been built to guard, transforming a simple search for an absent star into a profound journey into historical preservation. When the heavy doors finally glided open, there were no busy medical staff or rushing stretchers, only long rows of empty wheelchairs lined up like silent, metallic witnesses to a history that someone had spent millions trying to systematically dissolve from the public record. Following a strange metallic clang down the hallway, Chin and his cautious partner Lu discovered that room 717 bore no patient name but a faded electronic barcode that flashed a stubborn crimson access denied, a physical manifestation of the barriers that independent creators face every day when seeking the truth. Before tools could even touch the lock, the sudden appearance of an elderly caretaker holding a trembling brass key shifted the entire narrative, introducing a human element of deep emotional regret, as the old man confessed that those who entered this room were deliberately omitted from official logs to protect a much larger network of historical archives. To truly comprehend why an artist of such immense cultural standing would be connected to this forgotten wing of an urban medical facility, one must look at the intricate layers of the media landscape where public perception is constantly shaped by invisible hands. Detective Chin ran his fingers along the cold surface of the steel door, noting that the dust pattern suggested it had not been opened by standard personnel for a very long time, which directly contradicted the active electronic lock system that kept hummed with continuous electrical power. Inspector Lu checked his tactical watch, noting that their presence in this area had already exceeded their authorized schedule, a fact that added a heavy layer of psychological urgency to their movements as they stood caught between official procedure and an undeniable calling to uncover a beautiful, hidden truth. The elderly janitor, whose uniform bore the faded insignia of a previous generation, explained that for over 3 decades, certain individuals who possessed unique insights into societal history were quietly brought to this specific ward, not for medical correction, but to preserve their memories away from the distracting noise of modern communication networks. This meant that the entire concept of Room 717 was not one of harm, but one of absolute isolation, serving as a sanctuary for ideas that were considered too revolutionary or too pure for the mainstream world to absorb without undergoing a massive structural transformation. Suddenly, an overwhelming security lockdown was initiated, trapping the investigators within the metallic jaws of the facility as a specialized, highly organized security force, bearing identical silver badges shaped like a black raven, advanced through the sudden darkness, demanding the return of the recording left behind by the artist. This sudden escalation proved that Menglong was not merely an individual experiencing personal struggles, but a brave archivist who had discovered a massive repository of cultural and historical truths that a powerful, unnamed committee believed the general public was not yet ready to comprehend. Escaping through a narrow maintenance hatch, just as the upper levels were completely neutralized by a massive controlled demolition, the detectives and the caretaker crawled through ancient service tunnels, realizing that the physical destruction of the building was a desperate attempt to permanently seal the lower levels from human eyes. The ancient iron door they reached at the end of the tunnel was carved with unfamiliar, international symbols, proving that this entire structure was originally an underground military bunker built long before the modern hidden city above it, designed to safeguard a massive, multi-generational archive that spanned across pivotal historical markers, including 1998, 2001, 2014, and 2022. The progression through these underground tunnels required absolute physical and mental endurance, as the air was thick with the scent of oxidized iron and ancient paper, creating an atmosphere that felt like walking through the catacombs of human civilization itself. Detective Chin held his flashlight steady, illuminating the path for the elderly caretaker, whose knowledge of these hidden pathways was the only thing keeping them ahead of the tactical team that continued to search the smoking ruins above. Inspector Liu marveled at the sheer scale of the engineering, noting that the structural supports of the tunnel were built to withstand seismic events, indicating that whatever was stored at the end of this subterranean path was deemed valuable enough to protect against the ultimate collapse of the outer world. As they moved deeper, the sound of their own footsteps became a rhythmic reminder of their shared mission, a testament to the power of human curiosity and the collective desire to ensure that true historical integrity is never permanently buried under the weight of institutional convenience. As the flashlights illuminated thousands of classified files and dust-covered record boxes, Inspector Liu discovered that the names of prominent public figures, journalists, and executives had been carefully organized, not for a malicious purpose, but to ensure that an accurate, unedited version of history would survive even if the mainstream narrative was completely altered. The sudden activation of a single, functioning heart monitor beside an empty bed sent a wave of profound inspiration through the team, as they discovered a silver-inked notebook containing a list of global witnesses and a direct, personal welcome message typed onto the computer screens specifically for Detective Chin himself. Out of the shadows stepped the composed and articulate Dr. Lin, a brilliant intellectual who had been an intern at the facility 30 years prior, who calmly explained that Menglong did not leave his cryptic clues to expose a scandal, but to protect the detectives and invite them to become the next custodians of this grand archive. As the giant reinforced vault door began to unlock itself, revealing thousands of original media tapes and an old video camera containing a message from a masked, historical archivist, the room was suddenly surrounded by automated security drones that had lain dormant for decades, ready to defend the sanctity of the archive at all costs. The presence of Dr. Lin introduced a profound philosophical shift in the investigation, as her calm demeanor amidst the flashing computer screens suggested that this entire encounter had been anticipated by the original architects of the bunker. She pointed out that the files stored on the shelves were not instruments of division, but were instead an incredibly vast collection of human experiences, creative masterworks, and political agreements that had been set aside to prevent cultural conflicts during moments of intense societal transition. Every box that sat on the steel racks represented a moment in time where history could have taken a completely different path, offering a breathtaking look at what happens when human destiny is carefully curated by individuals who believe in long-term stability above short-term recognition. The heart monitor, which continued to beat with a steady and comforting rhythm, symbolized that the heart of this archive was still very much alive, waiting for a new generation of independent minds to step forward and carry the torch of objective truth into a world that was becoming increasingly fractured by digital misinformation. As the drones deployed beams of intense white light, shattering the concrete floor, Chin managed to retrieve a hidden stack of emergency envelopes and a detailed regional map revealing a massive network of underground escape routes, designated as Exit Alpha, which stretched far beyond the hospital boundaries and wound beneath major institutional buildings. A calm, deeply resonant human voice suddenly intercepted the audio system, shutting down the defensive drones and inviting the team to follow the subterranean path, delivering a final, electrifying message that this hidden archive did not end beneath the medical facility, but was merely the very first step of a global journey toward complete transparency. Realizing they were part of an inspiring, decades-old lineage of truth-seekers, the four companions stepped resolutely into the dark expanse of Exit Alpha, ready to face whatever awaited them with absolute courage and unity. The realization that their journey was expanding into a larger network of underground channels brought an incredible sense of purpose to the group, washing away the fatigue and fear that had threatened to overwhelm them during the intense confrontation in the vault. They understood now that the black raven emblem worn by the security forces was not a symbol of destruction, but a representation of the strict guardians whose duty was to test the resolve of anyone who attempted to access the records, ensuring that only those with pure intentions and unwavering dedication could ever inherit the keys to the archive. As they walked side by side through the expanding corridors of Exit Alpha, the ambient light from the ancient backup generators cast long, hopeful shadows against the stone walls, illustrating the beautiful truth that even in the deepest darkness, the human spirit will always find a way to illuminate the path toward enlightenment, unity, and a brighter tomorrow for all who seek the ultimate revelation. Thank you so much for exploring this profound mystery with Update X24H today. And if this inspiring journey into the depth of truth touched your heart, please support our independent work by subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and sharing your incredible theories in the comments below as we prepare for the next chapter.